Big news. The day is finally here after weeks of anticipation and a viewership of dedicated puffin lovers waiting with bated breath. We are about to name our puffin, currently known as EN78.
Yeah, so when we got the certificate for EN78, that's his actual name on the certificate we received for the adoption there. And so of course, we're being just a little tongue-in-cheek about humans who love puffins. There are some very dedicated fans, including, get this, Daryl from Sanford. He machine embroidered this bag right here, which is quite impressive. It's getting a lot of admiration here in the newsroom.
It's really impressive.
Beautifully done. He says it's just a skill of his, hands it out as gifts, and one came along for, so far, EN78.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to the naming, a little about the bird. EN78 is an Atlantic puffin who makes his home on Eastern Egg Rock. He was first trapped and tagged there back in 2016. Puffins can live more than 25 years, so researchers aren't exactly sure how old this guy is. Typically, he's found in burrow 24 on the island.
EN78 has also been called the Joyful One on the little info sheet the Audubon Society gives us, and they say he shares his home with nearly 5,000 other seabirds and 5 Seabird Institute researchers during the summer. Which brings us to how we adopted him. The Seabird Institute is part of the Audubon Society, and Project Puffin is kept under its wing. For $100, you can adopt a puffin, and the money goes to support their conservation efforts.
So we opened up the naming contest about 2 weeks ago, and we received a lot of results. In fact, 390 entries came through our website, although 8 of them were blank and 1 just said email. But we want to dive into some of those suggestions from you. And just a note, it seems like there were very few suggestions that were just a waste of time. We want to thank you for taking this seriously over the last few weeks.
Absolutely. We start with ones that made us laugh, though. Yesterday, someone suggested boing. Then later, we got boing. Sean Connery was a surprise. Sausage Egg McPuffin came in a couple of forms. Clown Baby, Seagull.
Okay, same category. We also had EN79, Big Man Jim, Chance the Flapper, which is objectively great, the Killer, Peter Griffin, and we also had this run of entries, Bob, Bobby, Mr. Bob, and someone submitted Freak Bob twice.
Very popular one. There were Olympic-themed names, because we've done this over the last few weeks. Olympic was submitted twice. Olympia, Olympias, Ollie, short for Olympics, Pierre, Biles, Paris, Isaiah for Olympian Isaiah Harris of Lewiston, Ryan or Caleb for Olympic swimmers Ryan Lochte, and Caleb Dressel, LeBron.
Yeah, some wanted us to name him after something newsy. In fact, Newsy was suggested a few times. Some plays on our Portland call letters, WCSH. Lee Goldberg was suggested, and Keith got a nod, though not Keith Jr.
Similar sized nose. We also had Ian and some variations on that, like Sir Ian McPuffin. Because he's designated name is EN78, there were other various names. Jeff, Leroy, Kevin, Edwin, David, Walter, Marty, Bertrand? It goes on.
Yeah, a lot of common names there. Finally, we got some suggestions that were tributes to Maine and the people who live here. Ralph for Ralph Eldridge, the former lighthouse keeper at Machias Seal Island. Mike after the man who carves puffins and sells them in New Harbor. Moxie, of course, we know that one why, and several people suggested Peary for Robert Peary, the Arctic explorer with ties to Maine. Abenaki, Acadia, and also Quaddy.
Our producer narrowed it down to 1 or 2 from each category, although if there's one we loved, we can still try to fight for it. So Sean Connery, Egg McPuffin, Ollie, Isaiah, Ian, Bertrand, Ralph for the lighthouse keeper, Mike for the puffin carver, and Peary for the explorer. All right, guys, what are you thinking?
I have a top 2.
Top 2, go ahead.
I'm Ralph and Ian.
Okay, Ian's in my top 2.
Okay, see?
Okay. Ooh, I'm ironic name, so I like
Of course.
Egg McPuffin or Chance the Flapper.
We had a hunch that we would be on the same page.
We did.
This is my life right now.
This
I'm
really
trying to make
is.
jokes. You guys take a name like Ian and make it serious.
Listen, if you're really
Ian's pretty
pushing
great.
for
Yeah.
one or the other.
I think Chance the Flapper is objectively hilarious, but what were your other ones? Ian and what?
Ian and Ralph for the lighthouse keeper. I know, they
I
live on
was
a rock
Ian
in the middle of the ocean.
Or Peary.
Okay, we got to do Ian then.
Let's
we gotta
do
do
Ian.
because that's the compromise solution.
Okay.
here.
I love that though, because he
Excellent
was
choice.
Ian.
Yes, Ian 7. By the way, it took me a while to connect the Ian 78.
Yes.
To Ian.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a little nod to a scientific name.
Honestly,
I get it.
huge thank you to everyone
Yeah.
who sent in submissions, though. We really appreciate it. We had a great time doing this.
A real blast doing it over the last few weeks. We appreciate it, and we will be right back.